So Injustice is an odd story to say the least, but the biggest thing that stands out about it is the split. Batman on the good side and Superman on the bad side. And the big question is, how should they handle criminals? So today, I want to share with you some philosophy and find out. Hello humans of the universe, heroes, villains, and everything between. I'm La Pokemon, and Injustice, you know it, you love it, or at least you tolerate it. But one thing that's clear about it is the question, is killing okay if it's for the right reasons? Now most of the time, our little heroes don't kill. They believe it's wrong and brings them down to the level of the bad guy. If they kill, who knows what else they will do. But then Superman kills the Joker and justifies it, not because of his rage, but by saying now he can never hurt anyone again. But you might be thinking, how does philosophy fit into this? Well, there's one man named Friedrich Nietzsche. He was a philosopher, and he will be defending Superman in this here trial. So, scenario. Let's say a police officer has a bad criminal in a corner, and that officer has two choices. Choice 1, kill the criminal, and choice 2, arrest the criminal. Friedrich Nietzsche would tell you to shoot him with Superman's reasoning. He can't hurt anyone again if he's dead. It's the purest choice. Or if you arrest the man, he would argue it's the bad option because if that man comes out of jail and kills more people, their blood is on your hands, because you had the chance to kill him. It's like an Under the Red Hood, where Red Hood had Joker, and he's gonna kill him because then he can never hurt anyone again. This all sounds great, doesn't it? Well, here comes Immanuel Kant to ruin your day. Philosophy, baby. So philosophy is one of those things that has a lot of different stances, so guess who Batman brought to life to defend him? That's right, I said it already, Immanuel Kant, with his Kantian ethics. So this Kant guy believed that taking of any life, regardless of the reason, is wrong. Does that sound like a mass vigilante we all know and love, but lately tolerate since he's been overused? Or just love? So anyways, why shouldn't we kill, bro? Well, Kant's philosophy is a little more complex than I made it seem. The just bits have some bend and stuff. Philosophy, it's something. So the basis comes from basically treating others how you would want to be treated-ish. Here, let me just read something. His principle of universal ability requires that for an action to be permissible, it must be possible to apply it to all people without a contradiction occurring. But this man argues that murder was wrong regardless of the circumstance, like Batman. There's always another way. But why? Well, no one knows. He never states why. Well, okay, so he states that in order for a human to be moral, they must not kill, and a lot of things hinges on a more confusing part of his philosophy. I hope no philosophy majors are watching this. Means to an end. This man says means to an end, never to treat others as a means to an end, or treat yourself as a means to an end. Which also means suicide is off the table, if you're wondering about that. But some people say that his use of the word duty may be a sign that he permits killing in a war or in extreme circumstances. But I'm not sure how many people read this words like this. And if they do, then it would lean more towards Superman some of the time, except for the time he killed Shazam. Spoilers. But if I'm right about Kant, then his use of goodwill sways this whole thing back to Batman being right. Because his view was the only measurable morality of good is goodwill throughout his example. Being loyal is good unless you're loyal to an evil force. So another quote here. The goodwill is singularly unique in that it is always good and maintains its moral value regardless of whether or not it achieves its moral intentions. And this screams Batman arresting criminals. He's doing something morally good even if sometimes people still get hurt. But this is also a good time to look at Superman and his reasons. He turns evil because of Lois's death. But I think there's an important thing to note here. He thinks he's morally right, but he's also selfish. He sits on a throne. He clearly has hubris, which could be argued that what he's doing is morally wrong regardless of killing is okay because of duty or some other such, because he's not doing it with goodwill. And also the duty aspect can fall apart when you know more about philosophy, as a act done out of duty will know with no morality or with morality is seen less than an act done purely out of goodwill. But what if goodwill is done with duty and aligns with your beliefs and morality? It's the best man. I don't think I'm explaining this right. Now my last stance. A categorical imperative. This is Kant's final blow. Probably. Don't lie, ever. No matter what. Okay, let me explain. Kant believed that the moral law is all binding, no matter what, regardless of what we want or think. So Superman killing is a hypothetical imperative, because he wants to do it not because he's bound by moral, he has a choice based on moral law. But how can Superman defend himself, now especially since I've only scratched the surface of Kantian ethics? Well, so what do you have to say about that, Friedrich Nietzsche? Well, this: society evaluates actions based on intentions rather than consequences. He said this because he believed it should be the opposite. Ergo, if you murder someone, it's okay because it had a good consequence. Well, if it has a good consequence. He's not off saying all murders are good. But in this case, he means killing the Joker is good because it means no one else has to die to his hands. And if he had acted sooner, way less people would have been hurt. So basically the end justified the means regardless of why they did it. If it has a good outcome, it doesn't matter, which is a moral opinion that can be leveled at Batman, regardless of whether it goes as far as murder. Because Batman has done things that might be considered morally corrupt, but because they have a good outcome, he justifies it. Moral law, actual law, and what's right are kind of like this Venn diagram that has overlap and a gray area. The pure intention means nothing to Nietzsche if it doesn't show results, and Superman shows more results than Batman. Joker can never kill again. But would Nietzsche say on Superman's side when he finds out he doesn't kill all villains? But he would defend him when it comes to recruiting them, since it follows his ends justify the means, in what he sees as the best world, regardless of whether Superman has selfless ideals or not. All that matters to Nietzsche are the results, and Nietzsche heavily believes in suffering leading to the way forward, meaning that maybe he would support Superman after all his suffering, making him a stronger leader and starting to kill to get the best outcome, making him an evolved man. This whole thing runs with the idea of a lesser evil, self-defense or defense of others. Now, utilitarianism can also be used to defend Superman in this situation. Well, it depends. This states that killing someone is wrong unless it maximizes the hedonic utility, which just means the amount of pleasure it would cause minus the amount of pain. Now, depending on the situation, this could help or hinder our hero. Now, with all this evidence in both sides, what is the final verdict? Well, the consensus on most people and in an actual court of law, Superman would probably be arrested for murder, but Batman would probably be arrested for other things. And it holds up since superheroes are not self-defense. That isn't their coverage during the law. Taking the law into your own hands, regardless of the outcome, is not legal. And if we are speaking on a purely legal perspective, nothing these heroes do is just. Like in Hancock, if you want to reference that movie, and it's much harder to pick a side in morality since there are many different views in my opinion. Batman wins just because I agree with Kant's morals. More killing is wrong and the most moral thing is the most just, and just because you see it different doesn't make it so. But that's just my opinion, and I would like to hear yours down in the comments. So like and subscribe, and as always, stay cool, stay weird, stay you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.